Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Donald. We're going to take a look today at Binance, BUSD, and BNB because it does not look good for their users. I am seriously worried because as we'll go through in this video, it looks like Binance might have $33 billion of what I see as fake assets. You can make your own opinion after watching this video, but there's been a lot of FUD surrounding Binance. Are they warranted or are they not? That's what we're going to visit in today's video. But before we get started, make sure to go smash that like and subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm. And once we've got that done, let's jump on in because this video is important. So before we get into today's proof of reserves, I just want to touch on US criminal charges. So the US Department of Justice are considering filing charges against both Binance and CZ. These charges relate to a 2018 investigation focused on Binance's compliance and anti-money laundering laws and sanctions. So what I learned from Yellowstone, if you guys watched that series, great series, is that there we go, an example of the US making laws for everyone else to follow except for themselves. Alright, let's get down to business and talk about proof of reserve. So John Reed Stark, who is a former US SEC regulator, said that the proof of reserves that came from Binance are a red flag. He is also the one that said that Tether right now is basically a house of cards and is running a Ponzi. So when I was writing the script for this video, Binance basically hired a French consulting firm, Mazars, to do their audit for them instead of the Big Four. And as I'm filming this right now, Mazars actually pulled out all their reports and attestations. So that's basically something that means nothing right now for Binance. When Mazars did their attestation, they basically did it according to agreed upon procedures that were requested by Binance. They also did not give their comments or opinions on whether this was legit or not, which is very important when it comes to auditing. The reports also didn't show full total assets and liabilities. They all only showed BTC assets and liabilities. So what it sounds like the fire inspection officer would come to your house and you would tell them what to inspect instead of them going through their own checklist and inspecting what they think is important for a fire inspection. So that's basically what happens between Mazars and Binance in this case. Jesse Powell, who is the founder of Kraken, also weighed in and said that Binance's audit was just a bunch of BS because their proof of reserve didn't have a real auditor look through it. In addition, one, we don't know what Binance's full liabilities are, and two, we don't know whether their proof of reserves excluded negative liabilities because, as we'll talk about later, negative liabilities would make their liabilities smaller than they actually are. So let's go through Binance's explanation of proof of reserve. So when a user deposits 1 Bitcoin, Binance's reserves increase by at least 1 Bitcoin to ensure they're fully backed. It is important to note that this does not include Binance's corporate holdings, which are kept in a completely separate ledger. So that's good. So what they built is a Merkle tree. So what the Merkle tree does is that every user will be available to verify their asset holdings using their own generated Merkle tree hash or record ID. This is a way for people to be able to confirm that their funds are held one-to-one and it can be verified by a third-party audit agency. So Merkle tree is basically a cryptographic tool, right? So the properties of the Merkle tree is used during their proof of reserves assessment to verify that individual user accounts are included within the liabilities report inspected by the auditor. So what's happening here in this graph is, let's say your account 1, you have some sort of balance on your account, another user's account 2, and they have some sort of balance, and you guys are represented by this ID. You will have hash 1, the other user will have hash 2, and together they'll form hash 12. Same for account 3 and 4 for account users 3 and 4. They will form both hash 3 and hash 4 for their own IDs, making hash 34. And altogether, all these hashes build up to hash 1, 2, 3, 4. But whenever your balances change, then your hash might change as well. So let's say you added more coin into this balance, your hash might become hash 5. So that will become hash 52 and hash 52. This with hash 34, that will make hash 5234, which makes it different than hash 1234. So this root hash here basically represents how much Binance owes in customer liabilities, and you can see here that this is an example, their Merkle root hash here for BTC block height 764327. Those was the amount that Binance owes to users. So Jesse Powell's problem with that proof of reserve is that we don't know if negative liabilities were included, because what a negative liability is what if Binance overpaid a liability. So now they have money that they're owed, but they can't get back, right? That's negative liability. It makes the liability liability smaller than they actually are. And also, because the proof of reserves is basically just a snapshot in time, it makes things riskier as they are, because every single minute, Binance's account balances will be changing, but that snapshot is only at a single point in time. After a minute, it will probably be outdated and we can't count on that anymore. So what really begs the question is, does Binance have enough assets? Because this week that I'm filming this in, Binance saw outflows of $8.78 billion and inflows of $5.1 billion. Altogether, that means that $3.66 billion left Binance this week. So if we take a look at Nansen and the net worth of Binance, we could see that they have a $59 billion net worth, right? But 26% of that is in BUSD and 21% of that is in USDT. And you know what I think about Tether. So 21% of 59 billion is basically 12.39 billion. If that gets wiped out, yeah, that's a lot of money. 10% of that is in BNB. So let's say that's $5.9 billion, which I think is an S coin. So we're not even going to talk about that. And BUSD, if they screw with BUSD like they did the FTT tokens, then that can also easily get wiped out as well. And 26% of 59 billion is $15 billion. If you add up the amount of these BUSD, USDT, and BNB, that is $33.29 billion of risky assets. So Corey Clipson makes a darn good point that even though Binance might not be leveraged with BNB, their users might be seriously leveraged with BNB, because you can actually use BNB as collateral to get real dollars. That kind of sounds familiar to what they were doing with FTT token with FTX, right? So here are the benefits of BNB token. These are the use cases. To me, they don't look like use cases. And you can actually use BNB as collateral if you want to borrow US dollars, because BUSD is a stable coin. Borrow real dollars for an S coin. And right now, BNB is at a price of $242. And it's been down 16% on the 7-day. So I know what you're going to say next. You're going to say, well, Donald, it is over collateralized. Yes, it is over collateralized. But let's say you bought BNB early. Let's say you bought it when it was like $5 or something, right? Then you're basically, they required like what, 6 BNB? You're basically getting $1,000 USD back for $30 worth of S coin that you initially deployed to buy BNB. So that is some strange things going on there. So Dylan here also makes a good point. 9x in 2 months during a bull run with barely a retrace. 10x against BTC. So you could see this huge run up for BNB. That is what I'm fearful of when I'm looking at charts. So when you see that, you really have to question, why did that happen? Maybe Binance had the incentive to drive up the price of the token to get more attention, to get more hype, to get more users. Binance isn't the only one. We had Celsius, Nexo, Voyager, FTX all creating their tokens out of thin air to accommodate their flywheel machine, to accommodate their marketing of their story, their token, their narrative, and look where they ended up. On top of that, Binance got 40% of the BNB tokens at ICO, which was worth $50 billion at the peak of the market. I didn't know that, and it all sounds extremely illiquid to me. One other thing that I noticed that really kind of bugged me was take a look at BNB and XRP, right? Take a look at 24-hour volume and market cap. Now, Binance or BNB before today, they were basically like double the market cap of XRP. They're still a ways ahead of XRP, but they're doing almost the same amount of volume. So that right there is kind of a red flag to me. They're only doing 200 million more. So it doesn't look like BNB is very, very liquid from the looks of it. So if you look through the news right now, Dylan's not the only one that's been harping at Binance's liabilities and how not transparent they are, regardless of how much CZ is saying that transparency is their top focuses. And on top of that, CZ recently said on Squawk Box that they are financially strong. Remember guys, we don't know what kind of liabilities they have. So with regards to that, with respect to BNB, Dylan's not the only one to think that the price of BNB is kind of disconnected from reality. I also think that too. So to finish this video off, CZ did an AMA recently and he mentioned that 99% of people who are self-custodying will lose their assets. Now, I agree with that because there's a lot of people who are forgetful. Most of us have memories of a goldfish nowadays, right? And people don't know how to securely write down their secret phrases to the right places. So make sure you get an Apricorn, multiple Apricorns, or a Keystone tablet because those are the things I use to make sure my seed phrases are safe. On top of that, get yourself a ledger because nowhere is safe right now. If you don't know how to use the ledger, check out the video that I made here. But I agree with him that 99% of people or maybe less actually, will actually lose a lot of their crypto assets because they forgot their keys. But I think that right now is a poor timing to actually mention that in an interview. And on top of that, please make sure to watch his Squawk Box interview and watch his character. Watch his body language. It really is very, very sketchy, which is why for now, I'm not FUDing Binance. I think they have enough assets based on what we see on Nansen, but 33 billion of that might just evaporate into thin air. But for now, things look good as long as Tether doesn't fall. What I want you to do is make your own judgment and come to your own decision on what to do with your assets. Maybe you want to keep them on Binance for whatever reason, or maybe you want to pull them from all the exchanges and get them into a ledger, and you can find your ledger in the pinned comments below. At the end of the day, you can't trust anyone. I'm not even telling you to trust me. What I want you to do is watch this video, do your own research, come to a conclusion, make a decision. And in full transparency, I have nothing to sell you other than the ledger. If you want to support the channel and get yourself a ledger because I make affiliate dollars off that, then go and do so. Go ahead and do that. But other than that, we live in an era where there is just so much scams and frauds. I'm just getting freaking sick and tired of it. So that's why I'm making these videos that can hopefully influence you guys to make choices that you think are right for you. Not what I think is right for you, what you think is right for you. And if you agree with that code of conduct, then I would really appreciate it if you go smash that like and subscribe button and check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and passive income. But that's all I got for you guys. Remember, guys, to keep working, keep building, keep inspiring. I'll see you next time.